Year 2020, left bank of the capital. Here on Kunaev Street, just a few hundred meters from the main presidential residence, stood one of the largest media centers in the world. News are broadcasted here by the main TV channels of the country. One of them is Khabar agency.
В кадре.
Здравствуйте, вас приветствует информационная служба телеканала Хабар 24. В студии работает Салтанат Тугельбаева.
Khabar journalists were among the first from the many TV journalists in the country to move in this building. They used to walk in the empty corridors and learned how to produce new programs. Now, they can produce materials for broadcast in a jiffy. It is from this place that viewers become the first to know about the many events that take place in the country.
Между тем, в Восточном Казахстане подсчитали ущерб от стихии, которая обрушилась на село Каратал.
Dozens of original newscasts are broadcast daily. The latest news reports, live broadcasts, all the latest and most reliable news are being broadcasted just in time. Journalists from the agency have never chased rumors or unreliable news. That is why the channel is being watched by many, and it is also why the channel continues to operate for a quarter of a century on air.
25 лет назад Хабар получил возможность
25 years ago, Khabar has got the opportunity to broadcast as its own TV channel, and in a short time we have become one of the leaders in the Kazakh television industry. From the early days of its existence, Khabar always keep pace with the changing times, introduce new innovations, and have done our best for our viewers by producing high-quality contents. We continue to strive for the best to this day.
From
the very beginning, Khabar quickly became a well-known brand. The word Khabar is a Kazakh word, which means news. But in Kazakh language, the word Khabar has a symbolic meaning. The name of the TV channel was suggested by our colleague and excellent journalist Kainar Olzhai. Back then, I used to joke that the name of the channel needs to be trademarked. Today, Khabar has become a phenomenon. Alma-Ata, Miras Street, number 177. This address was once known to everyone. Here is where journalists write news, share important information, and ask for help. Journalists have always evoked the public's trust. Khabar agency used to be based here and operate on the basis of the information service of Kazakh television in 1995. This is the year when the country had undergone a wave of fateful events. The Republic was just starting a new life back then, with a new constitution, its own currency, and international relations. People were always looking for answers to their questions. The all-union television was no longer relevant to them. They needed their own channel in order to learn about what is happening in the country. As they always say, they want to get the news firsthand.
Я вот помню, в Южно-Казахстанской области как-то где-то неделю не было света.
I remember that there was no electricity for 1 week in South Kazakhstan region. That was in the beginning of the 90s or beginning of 2000. If any key officials were reported in Khabar's news, it means that they have performed badly in their job. As I mentioned earlier, if somebody is being reported on Khabar channel, this means that the official's career is over.
Карьера чиновника закончилась.
I started working for the channel in 1997. Back then, such news were already being broadcasted on air. Presenters such as Abdirali Bolibay, Sergei Ponomarev presented news in Russian. Back then, for me, Liazat Tanisbay, Nurtilyu Imangaliuli, Zain Alibek were stars. Everyone recognized them when they went out into the street, and they were greeted by so many people. I even remember the previous address of Khabar, Republic Square 13. People went there to see Abdirali Bolibay. They wanted to complain about something to him. They also personally gave him letters. People thought that TV presenters could solve their problems. This was how big the influence of presenters. Presenters are those who viewers watch on their television screens every day. They were broadcasted in each house with the most trending news. Not everyone can be entrusted with such a big responsibility. Therefore, the competition is tough. Kimbat Khangildina said that she was convinced by her father to attend the casting. He saw great potential in his daughter, but back then, television was not part of her plan. A big Republican competition was announced, and more than 300 people attended the event. I went there on the third day of the competition, and some people had already passed the selection stage. I wasn't prepared at all. I wasn't very serious about it, to be honest. I came, read 2 texts, and left. At that time, I was working at the Academy of Sciences, and I had planned to work in the science industry. I had already chosen a topic for my dissertation, but at that time, perestroika, or the clash of the USSR, happened. Back then, all the topics of our scientific works were associated with Marxism, Leninism, and these topics are losing its relevance. Television came into my life at this crucial moment. Kairat Atagildiev is one of those who are always behind the scenes, but he said that the television industry has always been his choice. He decided to follow in the footsteps of his family, but he started small. He was a lighting technician previously before moving on to become a sound engineer. After that, he began to work with pictures.
Образовался НТА Khabar.
In 1994, the NTIA, or the National Television Information Agency, Khabar, was established. They called me and said that they would like me to join them. They gave me 2 Betacam cameras and 2 VHS cameras. I put together a team of 4 operators, 2 lighting technicians and 2 sound engineers. We started working in 1994. I remember during the first day at work, there were some organizational issues at NTIA Khabar, such as the arrangement of the office and the recording room, the room for cameras and lighting devices. We started working, 4 of us operators. We didn't see each other for 6 months because one leaves on a business trip and then the other one goes somewhere else. We were busy. We worked almost 7 days a week. Basically, we worked every day. At that time, Kazakhstan just gained its independence. So we made every effort to capture the first moments of the formation of our country. The editorial office was very busy with large-scale work. In the first year of operation, the broadcasting time for the agency's newscast barely reached 5 hours a day. They started with a small team of 67 people. Videnko joined the channel as soon as the opportunity arises.
Немножко она еще зеленоватая. Тут смотри, 2 сорта. Тут американка, еще какой-то второй сорт, да? Вот смотри.
Videnko is one of the journalists who does not like protocol filming. For almost a quarter of a century, he traveled all over Kazakhstan and visited different countries. He brought live exclusive reports from hotspots, and more than once, he was under fire. He continues to work in the Almaty office until today, but to find him sitting in the office is a rare success.
Да, наверное, стараемся как-то поменьше сидеть в городе, выезжать.
We try not to stay in the city so much. It's better to go out to find the news stories. We are usually out in the summer because in winter we don't travel out much. In summer we can go out to see many things and travel. Almaty region has so many interesting places and it's very beautiful. Today, Videnko is heading to the Bartogay Reservoir, the main hydraulic engineering facility in the Almaty region. The well-being of local farmers depends on the level of reserves it contains. No water means no harvest. Videnko was invited there by the farmers. It all started back in June, where the water level is not sufficient enough for the farmers. We have been reporting this news throughout the summer, and this is our 3rd story on this particular topic. We have met almost all of the local farmers. I've already seen what is happening here. There are farms that are doing well because there is enough water, but there are farms that are in disastrous situation because there is no water. We will go to these farms. I hope we will see. But this time, Videnko is not visiting the farmers alone. The management of the channel and the Ministry of Ecology have organized a press tour after a series of high-profile reports about the condition of the farms. The journalist now expects to receive answers to his questions. Yes, this is a press tour, but we are somewhat still on our own. We will try to broadcast the situation objectively and show our viewers what is happening here.
Позиция новостей Хабара – это не просто рассказать, что случилось, но и обозначить, почему это случилось.
The thing about Khabar's news is that it will not just tell you what happened, but it will also tell you why it happened and how it will affect the lives of people or the consequence of the event. We try not to only report the events of the day as it is, but we also analyze them. Khabar News began to gain ratings from the very first days of its broadcast. The team worked hard, and their works can be considered as at the level of best TV companies in the world. They always searched for news and experimented new things by themselves. One of such moments is the live broadcast from the Mir International Space Station.
Вообще прямое включение с орбитальной станции Мир это
The live broadcast from the Mir orbital station was a completely unique project because most likely in the near future we wouldn't be able to do anything like that. In 1998, Talgat Musabayev flew into space for the 2nd time. He was the commander of the Mir orbital station, the Russian station, and from there he could connect to the aircraft through the Mission Control Center. The signal came through a relay satellite to the MCC, and from there it was transmitted to Ostankino, and from Ostankino it went to us. There was a significant lag in the signal. The delay of the sound was about 5 to 6 seconds, but nevertheless, we could still communicate with those in space. Not long before that, a group of journalists have managed to send a guitar with a personalized engraving to the ISS. After waiting for lengthy approvals, the guitar was finally delivered to the orbit via the Progress cargo vehicle.
Это, не знаю, это, наверное, было один из самых, наверное, ярких таких в плане эмоций моментов в моей жизни.
I think that this was probably one of the most memorable events in my life. It was very emotional for me. Talgat Musabayev, who communicated with us from the Mir station, stretches out his hand towards the guitar, while the guitar slowly floats into the frame. At that time, he was also floating in zero gravity. Get on air and be the first to broadcast the story. That is the golden rule for journalists at Khabar. Their viewers need to be the first to know about certain events. Otherwise, it couldn't be considered as news.
Біздің жүйеміз былай болатын. Біз жаңағы республика алаңында тұрған ғимаратта съемкаға шығып, сол жерге келіп
I remember that in the early years of Khabar TV channel, the editing rooms were located in the building of the former Kazakh television, and the editorial offices and studios were at the new building. The distance from the editing room to the on-air studios was in 2 minutes, and we had to deliver reports on cassettes very quickly. We couldn't even think of the disruption of the news broadcasts. The first analytical program, Jetikun, was broadcasted on air in 1996. The one-hour program was on air for 7 days weekly. Journalists discuss about sensitive issues in this program. Over the years, the layouts were changed as well as the presenters, but the objective of the program remains.
Программа Jetikun, как известно, это одна из старейших итоговых информационно-аналитических программ.
The Jetikun program is one of the oldest programs that summarizes and analyzes the current situations. It has been on air since I was a child and in school, and now I am the presenter of this program. This is a great honor for me. Every week we summarize the main events of the past 7 days. Important political events, state initiatives, the successes and failures of the state programs, all are being broadcasted on Jetikun. It is common to listen to criticism of officials who do not fulfill their tasks. During the period of the state of emergency in the country due to the coronavirus, editors of the program were the first to change its on-air format to home studio.
Для меня это был очень большой и серьезный опыт. Я стал и видеооператором, и видеомонтажером, и звукорежиссером. Я без чьей-либо посторонней...
It was a big responsibility and unforgettable experience for me. I became a videographer, video editor, and sound engineer all at once. Without anyone helping me, I learned how to record by myself at home, and I didn't use a prompter. Now I am glad for this experience, and I can go on air or record the program and transmit it distantly from anywhere I am. Distant working for journalists is something that is extremely difficult to imagine in the late 1990s. The internet connection wasn't as fast, and there are no technological developments. Because of that, the channel had decided to relocate part of its team to the capital city.
Очень большой коллектив переезжал в Астану, естественно, из Алматы.
We moved a very big team to Astana from Almaty. Well, back then, the city used to be called Akmola, then Astana, and now Nur Sultan. I remember the day when they all left. It was in the evening. The train left, they all wore branded jackets and left together in a big group. There were operators, technicians, editors, journalists, and of course, it was very sad for us to part. But we understood that the future is there in the capital. Everything is new and the city will be developed.
Я сюда приехала в апреле 99 года.
I came here in April 1999. I was sent alone as the branch director of Khabar. I took my fur coat with me just in case because I heard about the cold winter. But at that time it was late April and the weather was warm in the futuristic capital. For the first few months, up to the first year and a half, all of us stayed together in a rented apartment. We rented it from Kazakhstan channel. Back then, our studio had 3 small rooms, an editing room, an operator's room, and an editorial room. At the same time, our office was being built on Saryarka Street. The work responsibility was huge and strict. Each of us was required to give full dedication and take on several jobs at once. In my experience, for example, I probably juggled 5 main jobs. I was the one responsible to overlook the building of our office. I was also a supplier, a builder, a delivery man, and probably to some extent, I had to be a negotiator. On top of all this, I was also a producer at the same time. The main thing is we produce news. Our colleagues were right. The new city provides new opportunities. We had different ambitions. In October 2002, a national satellite TV channel was established in Kazakhstan. It was previously called Caspianet, and later it was renamed to Kazakh TV. The channel became a new brainchild of Khabar. It is being broadcasted in 118 countries from Western Europe to North Africa.
Телеканал Казах ТВ, он имеет большую историю и большой потенциал в будущем, потому что действительно
Kazakh TV channel has a long history and great potential in the future. This is the channel that forms the first impression of Kazakhstan, the opinion of Kazakhstan among people from other countries. It is a great responsibility for us to broadcast in 118 countries in 5 languages. After another 10 years, the television family continues to expand. A round-the-clock information channel was created, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It has the largest team who works on content creation.
Вот на период пандемии Хабар 24 был основным источником информации для.
I can say that during the pandemic, Khabar 24 was the main source of information for many people. More than 200 people are working for the channel, and they are part of the ongoing process to produce news content. This is a niche channel and one of the most highly rated. This is proven during the coronavirus lockdown.
Период вот этого коронавируса.
Меня часто спрашивают, как работа наша изменилась в связи с вот этими всеми условиями, вот этой ситуацией. Я обычно говорю, что сфера средств массовой информации...
I'm often asked, how did the current situation change our work? In my opinion, the media industry, unlike many other industries, gained more from the pandemic than lost. Because if we talk specifically about our channel, we have learned to work in extreme conditions and to produce very high-quality news in a short period of time. We have become mobile. We have started to go live using mobile phones. We began to shoot stories on mobile phones in order to limit the contact between the videographer and the correspondent. We became more flexible because now we are not guided by strictly approved schedule or timing. The broadcast is live as we continuously deliver important news to our viewers. As soon as the news ends, the newscast ends as well.
Как только они заканчиваются, выпуск заканчивается.
In 2017, Yelarna channel began to broadcast feature films, documentary projects, and theatrical performances. Every day, viewers have the opportunity to watch creative personalities, as well as watch literature films and little-known archive footage. The channel has partnered with the country's largest film festivals.
Yelarna, если взять сейчас, это единственный нишевый канал казахстанский.
Yelarna is the only niche channel in Kazakhstan that broadcasts films that are locally produced as well as films from the state's Golden Fund. The unique thing about this channel is that we show films that are not shown on any other TV channels. Besides films, Yelarna also shows performances. We shoot these ourselves using the 8-chamber mobile television station. We record the sound and the filming, while the theater specifically sets for us the props and the whole performance. Many thanks to the theaters that collaborated with us.
Театр на тот день ставит для нас декорации, то есть целый спектакль. Огромная благодарность нашим театрам, которые пошли к нам навстречу.
Khabar TV channel also prepares surprises for its viewers. In its 25th Jubilee season, it will broadcast new exciting projects, while programs that are popular will remain. One of the new projects would be the Біздің project, a new social talk show in Kazakh language. This is where experts, leaders of public opinion will discuss all the pressing issues together. There are many different topics that will be discussed. These could be ecology, industries, the president's speech, or big events. The next project is also a social talk show, Kala Mainmin, which is aimed at educating or perhaps popularizing the values, traditions, and culture of the Kazakh people. We have many surprises for our viewers, but we cannot disclose all of these yet right now. Last year, the channel produced 11 TV series and 96 animated films. The agency's productions were presented at the largest entertainment content market event, MIPCOM. For Khabar, its participation in the event brings new opportunity to expand its TV production, establish new business connections, and broadcast interesting programs.